Psalm chapter 2, verse 1 poses a profound question that resonates through the ages. Why do the nations rage and the people plot a vain thing? This verse opens a doorway to understanding the human condition and divine sovereignty, offering a perspective that is as relevant today as it was when it was first penned. The question itself is rhetorical and sets the tone for a dialogue about the futile attempts of human beings to defy the established order of divine authority. The psalmist begins by pointing out the chaotic and rebellious behavior of the nations and the people, two groups that cover a broad spectrum of humanity. The nations refers to the larger entities, kingdoms, countries, and peoples collectively, while the people zooms in more closely on individuals within these groups. Both are seen actively engaged in rebellion, not just idly discontent. The word rage in this context conveys more than just anger. It suggests a tumultuous, uproarious rebellion, a passionate uprising against an established authority. This is not merely a passive discontent, but an active and noisy upheaval. It's the picture of an uproar that disrupts order and rejects control. On the other hand, plot implies a more calculated approach. It involves scheming or devising plans in secret. The term used here reveals a contrast between the overt chaos of raging and the covert scheming of plotting. Both actions, however, are aimed against the same target, the rule and reign of God and his anointed king. The addition of the adjective vain to describe these plots introduces the futility of such rebellions. The original Hebrew word conveys emptiness, something devoid of truth, success, or any meaningful outcome. This isn't just a failed rebellion, it's inherently futile from its inception. The plans are doomed to fail because they are against the omnipotent Creator who established the very framework of authority and governance. This initial verse sets a stage where human arrogance and the divine perspective crash into each other. From a human viewpoint, these rebellions might seem substantial and threatening, at least to the existing human authorities or amongst the peoples themselves. Yet, from the divine viewpoint, these actions are as insignificant as dust on scales. They are empty because they challenge an unchallengeable throne, the throne of God himself. Throughout biblical history, this theme is consistent. The Tower of Babel, the Egyptian pharaohs, the Babylonian kings, and even the rulers in the times of Jesus all exemplify this rebellion. Each group thought they could establish their rule and defy God. Each felt their plans were sound, secure in their power or cunning. Yet each was proven vain in the end. God's purposes stood firm, his sovereignty unchallenged in reality, though often contested in the hearts of men. In our times, this verse speaks to the modern equivalents of raging nations and plotting peoples. It addresses the modern pursuit of autonomy from God's moral order, seen in the various ideological, political, and cultural movements that attempt to redefine truth, justice, morality, and human purpose. The psalmist's question prompts us to consider the outcome of such pursuits and to reflect on the nature of our own actions. Are they aligned with God's sovereign purposes, or are they part of the vain plotting of a contemporary rebellion? As we ponder this question, the Scripture serves as a mirror, reflecting not just historical rebellions, but our personal ones as well. Every human being at some point rages or plots against divine authority, whether overtly or in the hidden corners of their hearts. This verse calls us to self-reflection and to the acknowledgement of God's ultimate authority over our lives. Verse 1 is not merely an ancient literary opening. It is a timeless invitation to examine the conflicts between divine sovereignty and human rebellion. It urges us to look beyond the surface chaos and scheming to see the deeper issue at hand, the human heart's resistance to God's rule. This verse challenges us to understand the nature of our personal and collective uprisings against God and to consider their futility in the face of His eternal purpose and unshakable kingdom. In this light, the psalmist's question reverberates through the corridors of time, speaking to kings and citizens, leaders and followers, you and me, calling us all to reconsider our ways and align ourselves with the sovereign rule of God, whose plans are not only infallible but filled with hope, truth, and everlasting success. Through understanding this, we gain a perspective not of despair, but of awe and humble submission to a plan greater than our own, a plan that encompasses not just the immediate, but the eternal, not just the personal, but the cosmic.